Moishi? Moishi?
For some reason, I'm on the Moshe Sinitsky.
Oh.
What's happening? Maybe because I'm using his computer.
Ben?
We've got whiskey.
Yeah. I just want to ask Ben if he approves. Ben, do you approve? Will this do the job?
Yes, very nice, Shiur.
Well, I'm saying, yeah?
Click on answer me.
I'll try and leave a l'chaim by your door if I come past it in the area.
Shkoyach. What have I got today? That's mine today.
Okay.
A good one.
It's very nice. Yeah, I like it.
Should do the job.
Are we definitely finishing perk today?
I think we manage. I think we should manage. Yes. Yeah.
In fact, Ben, I think that whiskey will probably go quite well with these, no?
Ooh. Yeah, quite nice those, yeah.
I think they go well together.
So who's making the chant on Thursday night? That's my question.
It's not this Thursday, it's next Thursday.
Oh, next Thursday. Sorry, yeah, next Thursday.
I'm having 2 l'chaims this week. Tonight, Mr. Sherman. Thursday night.
You can never have too many.
Thursday.
Misaskim were having a meeting on by Zoom or something. So if anybody belonging to Misaskim is not on, you have the Fagin text, but he's not on. Have you heard about Misaskim going through quite a busy period? So they're trying to.
Only the Kohanim are here today. And Ben, of course.
On me.
You know that when the time was Nifta, there was a Kohen called Rabbeinu Chaim who went to the tower. They said, "How can you do it?" He said, "Because the tzaddik is not matamid." You know that's famous Rabbeinu Chaim. A lot of halachas today. We'll see how much we get.
It's a big machlokes generally, no?
Yeah, big machlokes. So I don't know if we rely on it.
No.
How are you?
Oh, Hashem and you.
I went to Tesco today. No queue at all. Can you believe it? No queues in Tesco.
What time?
4ish.
Which one? Cheatham Hill?
No, went to Prestwich.
Yeah, it's Prestwich.
They tend to be in the morning is very busy. Late morning.
My auntie told me that she had a queue for an hour and a half to get into Tesco. Can you imagine? Last Friday. Last Friday.
Yes.
Shall I send you a text message quickly just about my timing? No, whatever.
Yeah.
Very good. We should really make like a group just to find out when the shops don't have queues.
Very simple, the evening.
No, at 10 o'clock they close, and by 8 o'clock there can be a queue there. 8 o'clock there's no queue. 9 o'clock?
No. The ones that close about an hour before they close is a good time to go.
Oh, that's good to know. I never managed. I forgot to buy whiskey there. That was anyway. Okay.
I
can drop you some.
You can send it through some email it. So not email it, well, WhatsApp it. So I got something else. Anyway. We're starting off Daf Memvav Mudalef. It's actually today is a very lot of halachas. It's very again a mice everything as much as we can do. Some of it is not, some of it is. We're carrying on discussing Muktzah. We're up to Daf Memvav Mudalef, about 5 lines from the bottom. Rav Avya Ikla Lebea Rava. Rav Avya went to the house of Rava. Having eaten Beikare, his shoes were dirty, were muddy. The tinner with mud, with cement, clay. I see Pulya Kameda Rava. He put them on the bed in front of Rava. Can you imagine coming to somebody's house? with shoes full of mud and putting your shoes on the bed. Ikbid Rava got upset. That I just want to say very, very briefly. There's a story about Isazan Meltzer, his father-in-law, which unfortunately his name, I couldn't find it, was zeichet to have many sons-in-law, Talmidei Chachamim. And they asked Isazan Meltzer, why was he zeichet to that? So he said that he was a wealthy person. And Chaim Wassman once came to visit him to collect for Baranovich Yeshiva, and his shoes were full of mud. And because of that, Chaim Wassman knocked on the back door as to not to walk through the hallway where he had rugs and cover them with mud. So this is how Meltzer said that his father-in-law, when he saw what had happened, told Chaim Wassman, you're just destroying years of my chinuch. I've always taught my children that things are not important. Torah is important. He asked him to go back out of the house and to come in dafka through the front door and to walk all over the rugs with his muddy shoes. He says, that's who my father-in-law was, and that's why he was zecher to such sons-in-law to Talmidei Chachamim. I was thinking of this when we do this Gemara, because this Gemara seems to say not like that. Ikbid Rava got upset. So what do you do when you're upset with somebody? You ask him a kasha, which is so difficult that he doesn't know the answer. That was the kind of thing they did in those days anyway. He wants to upset him. Omale, my Tama, I'm really, really sorry. I missed out 2 lines of the Gemara. I'm surprised nobody stopped to me. We're up to the first wide line. I'll go back. I'm really sorry. I should have. Omar Yehuda, Shraga de Mishcha, a candle of oil showed it till you're allowed to carry it. It's the first wide line. The nafta, but of nafta, which is kind of a more bad smelling candle, also little tula. As we said, Muksa Machmas Mios is a machlegas. And he says that even though you don't hold Muksa Machmas Mios by oil, but by neft, everybody agrees. Also little tula. Even of neft, you have to. As we said before, I see that Puya Kamid the Rabbi put on the bed in front of Rabbi. Why did Rabbi say it's mutter? We're up to 3 lines from the bottom of Memvov on Mudalef. Since you can use them to cover even something which is bad, as long as you can use it to cover a bottle or a jug or a container, that makes it a keli. So Rabbi said to him, if that's the case, all stones in the chotzer, all pebbles. We know that one of the main muktzas is muktzah machmas gufroi, is a worthless item. And the famous example of that is a stone or a pebble. And yet, the halacha is that everybody is allowed to, that why should be muktzah? Why can't you say that every little stone, every little pebble is not muktzah for the basic reason that you can cover your items? When something is an actual keli, then you can use it to cover other things. But otherwise not. Milo Tanya did we not learn? Top of them base. Hashiroim, these are bracelets. Banezomim, top of them base, nose rings. Vata boys. The halacha is that you're not allowed to carry, a woman should not walk with jewelry on Shabbos, which it is common for her to take off and show off to people. The reason is we are scared that if she takes it off, she may come to carry it. I saw Tshuva, one of the poskim regarding gloves, that nowadays, walking with gloves, people often take the gloves off. So if you go to Shaila, if you're allowed to wear gloves, and it was just a rabbim, where you may easily come to take it off. In those days, it was common for a woman, if she would wear a new nose ring, she would go out into the street and she would show it off to her friends. So therefore, they were not allowed to carry it in Shus Rabbim.
Especially a tachshit or any kind of clothes.
Only tachshit, only tachshit.
So then gloves aren't tachshitim.
No, but we've got the same problem, and that is that people often take it off. The Gemara says Gabi tachshitim. That there's nothing really wrong with them. They're not muktzah. The only problem is they're the proper keli. Only you can't take them because he might come to take them off. And that's why it is mutter. Baruch Hashem that Rabbi was not able to embarrass Rav Avia, and indeed Rav Avia was able to reply. And even though he had muddy shoes, in the end he never managed to catch. Rabbi never managed to catch him out. Okay. Tanya, we've learned. The leftover oil in the candle is forbidden. Alma, the halacha is, if somebody has a bechor, a firstborn animal, then the halacha is he has to treat it with kedusha until he gets a mum. So what do they do nowadays? All the farmers now, so does anybody know what they do? If you have a bechor, you've got major problems. What do you do?
Are they masquerade?
No.
No, you let it walk outside till
do
it has a mum, and then you don't have to give it anymore.
You what?
You let it walk outside till it has a mum, right?
Yes, but that's not such an easy solution because you can sometimes wait a long time for it to get a mum. They are they were shutfus with a goy. They are always makna every time a cow is about to give birth to its first child. They are makna the ear or part of the ear of the newborn calf, which is going to be born to a goy. If a goy has even
I thought even a shutuf with a yid would help.
No, we discussed this once, Levi, actually together.
Yeah, I thought I
It
remember.
is interesting. The Rav of Kaimimios was very, very busy with it. And what would happen is, it was called a Mendelssohn. And what he used to do is, he used to have, every time a farmer would come in, he would write out a shtar, because you have to do a kinyan with a go is not so straightforward. As you know, when they sell the chametz before Pesach, they do a few different kinds of kinyanim to make sure the go is properly koina. And once his Gabba said to him, I don't understand you. Why don't you just have ready-made forms? And in that way, because what happens is this can get quite urgent. A farmer would come running in, say, my cow is about to give birth, and if it's going to be born a bechor, what am I going to do? And he would quickly write out a whole shtar and get a goy to be koined. Why do that? Have ready-made forms. So he said to him, imagine Mashiach comes, and I'll be very, very excited to greet him, and I'll invite him into my office. And I'll say to you, so what have you got in your drawers? And I have to open my drawer and show him that I've got forms of how to avoid giving the bechor to Beis Hamikdash, because I'll be embarrassed. Because the whole idea is based, once Mashiach comes, it's not a problem, give it to the Kohen. But there's a very famous story about Moshe Feinstein that what happened was, there was a farmer in America that did not give shutfus to a goy. And he had a baby bull, a young bull, not sure what you call that. And the farmer had to wait for it to get a mum. And you're not allowed to put a mum in a bechor. So he had to wait. Now what happens is the vets in America, they vaccinate every single animal once a year. They inject it in the ear. And often they break a bone in the ear. And that's what they used to do. And every year he would have to get Talmidei Chachamim to check it out. But you're not allowed to tie it down because that make it a mum. So you had to give it a whole field for it to roam around. For years, you had to provide a whole field for this one animal. And every time it would get bigger and bigger and more dangerous. And finally, one year, he realized that through the vaccination, that actually not always do they break a bone, only sometimes. And one year they did break a bone. He had to have 3 Talmidei Chachamim look at it. And they stood over the fence because they were too scared to go into the field. And when it went round next to the gate of the fence, then they looked at it and saw the broken bone and they were at it, and he was able to shut it. You have to be careful not to have a bechor. So what would happen if a person has a bechor before Yom Tov and comes Yom Tov and he gets a mum, and the Talmid Chacham looks at it and says, this is a good mum, because every mum needs to be verified by Talmid Chacham. Would you say that's muktzah or not muktzah? So the Chaykur to Rabbi Shimon, it's not muktzah, because he said the oil left over in the candle is not muktzah, so this should also not be muktzah. So again, it's not called prepared, and it's muktzah. And says, how can you compare? By the candle, he knows that the candle is going to eventually go out. So therefore, he's constantly waiting and knowing that the candle is going to go out and the leftover oil is going to be permitted. Who says that mum will ever fall into this animal? It has to be a mum which is kavua, not a temporary mum. That means, by oil left over in a candle, a person's still thinking about it before Shabbos comes in. He thinks, oh, maybe I'll enjoy it. Now, She'ein came when it comes to oil, when it comes to a bechoi, which gets a mum, who says it's going to have a mum, and if it does have a mum, it's going to be a mum kavua, who says the Tam Chacham will come to matter it, and therefore we don't allow it. As we said this many times, the muktzah means set aside. This is much more set aside than the oil which is in the lamp. There's two kinds of hataras that done. There's a hafara, which is a husband can do for his wife, and a hatara, which a Talmud Chacham can do for anybody. And both of these are allowed, the tzorech HaShabbos. Let's say your wife on Shabbos says, I'm never going to eat strawberries again. So you can say to her, mufalach, 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 and she's allowed to eat strawberries because it's a tzorech HaShabbos. Why is it a tzorech HaShabbos? Because now she'll be able to enjoy the strawberries on Shabbos. Even if, let's say, you say mufalach, all the strawberries will be muktzah, because she doesn't know that you are going to be mefer. Just like we said by bechoi, you don't know or get a mum, and you don't know that the chacham will say that the bechoi is mutter. So who I didn't hear, the wife does not know that the strawberries that your husband's going to be mefer. And therefore, she thinks it's going to be muktzah. And if it is muktzah, then the hafara which the husband does is no te'elesta because she still can't eat the strawberries, which means that she gains nothing. And if that's the case, what tzorech HaShabbos is there? As Mo says, when the woman makes a neder, she's always thinking to herself, will my husband actually approve? It's not something which is a complete strange thing. She thinks to herself, who knows if it's going to happen? She knows when a person makes a neder, she's thinking to herself, I'm doing it at das, and my husband will approve. But if he doesn't approve, then I'm not going to do the neder. So therefore, it's not like a b'choy with a mum. Let's say let's say who says that Talmud Chacham will come and be matir? The one says there's a difference between Ataras Nedorim and being matir b'choy. For Ataras Nedorim, you can either use one Talmud Chacham or 3 people who are not Talmidei Chachamim. Alternatively, you can use 3 people. Sorry, by Ataras Nedorim, you can use all Talmud Chacham or 3 Amaratzim. By matir b'choy, you need to have a Talmud Chacham. Therefore, who says that you'll get a Talmud Chacham to matter the b'choy? Again, when you have a b'choy which gets a mum and you're not sure if the Chacham is going to be mattered on Yom Tov, that's muktzah because you're not prepared. You don't think the Chacham is going to have it. When it comes to a neder, it's very easy. Either I'll get a Talmud Chacham or I'll get 3 people. It's not a problem. Says the that only when the candle goes out, then you're allowed to carry it. So what's wrong with carrying a candle which is lit according to Reb Shimon on Shabbos? What's wrong? Maybe when you carry the candle, it'll go out. The more asks a question like this. We said earlier, according to Reb Shimon, that you're only allowed to carry a candle once it's out, because there's no muktzah. But while it's lit, you're not allowed to. Why? Often when you're carrying a candle, it goes out many times. For example, people say to you, second day Yom Tov, they want a light. Your neighbor knocks on the door. So you give them a light. What's the next thing that happens is the candle goes out. When you're carrying a candle from place to place, often it goes out. So therefore, the question is that what's the problem? The candle may go out, but Reb Shimon holds over Shimon Skavan is mutter. And it's one like this. When it's a deraisa, when you do bekavana, like a candle going out is a deraisa. So therefore, when it's a derabanan, it's therefore even when you're not mechavan, it's also a derabanan. Pulling a table is only a derabanan in the worst of cases. Why? Because it's not a normal way to plow. How does a person normally plow? You take an ox, you take a plow, you take a whole matzah, you take a tool. Here, pulling a table is certainly not a normal way, so it's a derech shinui. So at best, it's only going to be an issa d'rabbanan. So therefore, since at the best, it's only issa d'rabbanan, so carrying a candle, which you could come to issa d'raisa, they forbade you. Pulling a table, which is only issa d'rabbanan, they did not forbid it. Those who sell clothes, we talked about this once before. In the olden days, the way you used to sell clothes is you'd wear them, and you'd go out in the marketplace and you'd say to people, look, I'm wearing this jacket, don't you think it looks nice? Do you want to buy it? And people would buy it. But the problem is, are you mechuyev to check for shatnez before? And the halacha is no. Why not? Because you're not wearing it for the sake of wearing it, you're wearing it for the sake of selling it. And therefore it's mutter. But you have to be careful not to wear it at the same time when you're trying to sell it, not to wear it for benefits. So moichin kedakon, you can sell the normal way, i.e. by wearing the clothes, even if it might have Shabbos. As long as you're careful in the summer not to wear it to avoid the sun, and in the winter not to avoid the rain. That's no.
I can sell garments on Shabbos.
No, we're not talking about shatnez. We're not talking about Shabbos here altogether. We're talking about shatnez, which is on a weekday. And the problem over here is like this: that you want to wear the clothes in order to sell them. So if you're wearing the clothes to benefit, because let's say it's a cold day, you want to get the rain off your back, so that's why you're wearing the coat, or it's a very hot day, you want to shelter, so you're not allowed to because you're benefiting from shatnez. If the only reason you're wearing it is to sell it, it is mutter. But those who tzaddikim, put it on a stick behind the backs. That way they're not wearing it. And we see that the Shimon holds the Davish in the Skam is mutter even by Sur Deraisa. So why did you say that he's only matter by Sudabon? Hanoch l'shemanu psilo. The top of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. Hanoch l'ner l'shemanu psilo. Hoyel denase v'nase boss of the davar asa. A candle is much worse because it's a bosses for davar asa. What is it a bosses for? It's a bosses for the flame. The flame is a boss, is a muktzah bachbas kufoy. And therefore, everything is a muktzah for it. And that's why, for example, even we hold that from Shimon, and there's no muktzah, we agree that you're not allowed to move a candle on Shabbos. Not only are you not allowed to move a candle on Shabbos, if you put your candles on your whole table is a bosses l'davar muktzah. Unless you're careful to put challahs or something on the table, that the table, or something precious on the table, that the table should not be a bosses for your candles. You put, or you, who amongst you is put your candlesticks actually on your main dining room table? Anybody do it? I don't, because I'm scared of my children playing with getting hurt from the fire. None of you do. I always felt bad about it, because in Halacha it says you should put it on the table. Till I read a biography about Rebbetzin Kanievsky, that they never put on the table either, because Chaim Kanievsky said he's worried about his children. So you see that even he didn't put it on his table. I see none of you put it on their table. You are supposed to put it on your table. You should just be aware. But it is actually only practical for people who've got no little children around. When there's little children around, it's very dangerous. But if you do put it on your dining room table, then you have to be careful that your table does not become a bosses. Rebbe allowed me, this is on Shabbos, to carry a pan with the ashes inside it. And now the Gemara is going to discuss for some time what is the reason that you're allowed to carry a pan, a burning pan, with its ashes. If your child is carrying muktzah, stones are muktzah, and your child wants you to carry them, you're allowed to. Why are you allowed to? Oh, you're carrying muktzah through a secondary item, which is only permitted b'mokim matzorach. The answer is because a child will cry and gets upset if the father doesn't hold his hand and carry them. So therefore, even if your child is carrying muktzah, it's important to halacha. Sometimes your child is carrying muktzah. Let's say your 2-year-old, 3-year-old is carrying a battery-powered electric item on Shabbos, and the child starts crying. You're allowed to pick up your child, even though you're actually, in essence, lifting muktzah, because to comfort the child, it is mutter. That's mafurish machab. Or another halacha, or kalkolo, or a basket for even besoicha. A stone is muktzah. If you've got a basket of fruit, you're allowed to carry it, even if it's got a stone. Why are you allowed to carry a basket if it's got a stone inside? Because since it's got full of fruit, what's more important to you? The fruit. The fruit is more important than the stone, so therefore you're carrying the fruit, and the stone doesn't matter. Tamo de spelpevi, only because it's got fruit, or less spelpevi loy. But it's got no fruit, it's forbidden. So therefore this frying pan, this pan, which has got ashes which are muktzah, it should be also. He was silent for a short time, meaning he didn't know the answer. We're talking about a pan which doesn't just have ashes. It also has inside it pieces of frankincense, of spices. And therefore, whenever you've got something which is a basis for something which is muktzah and not muktzah, you have to decide what is more important. And here, because it's got a bit of incense and bottom, spices inside which people burn, therefore it is permitted. Rebbe was a very wealthy person. Did by the house of Rebbe were counting michashivim, were they important? People would throw them out. That they were important for the poor. Well, Tanya, big de anim le'anim, big de ashim le'ashim, avol de anim le'ashivim loy. That the halacha is that for something which is suitable for the poor is choshev a beged for the poor, and something which is choshev for a rich is for the rich. But if a rich person has something which he considers not significant, not important, for him it's not considered, it's not important. So therefore, the same thing in Rebbe's house, these little bits of smelling incense is not important. And there's a special halacha that a graf shalvei, it is mutter to move it on Shabbos. It's a very, very important halacha. I'll tell you where it comes up quite a lot. Is we all had now 3-day Yom Tov. Most of us, the bins became overfull at some stage during the 3 days, especially for a lot of little children, etc. Anybody have that? The bins became full? Does anybody have this problem? The bins became full. Kitchen bill becomes full on Yom Tov. You have that problem? It's a very common problem. Now,
Yeah, everyone does.
everyone does, right? Now, is the bin muktzah? That's not 100% clear, but pashtus it is muktzah. If a person's careful not to throw anything in the bin before Yom Tov or Shabbos came in, then perhaps this bin is not muktzah, because things that are in the bin are muktzah. Things that are thrown in the bin after Shabbos comes in, we'll discuss them another time, are not muktzah, not always muktzah. So the problem is, can you empty the bin? And the answer is that you're allowed to if it's graf shalvei. What's a graf shalvei? Something which is very off-putting. So an overflowing bin which is smelling is definitely off-putting. What happens if a person doesn't put inside a particularly off-putting thing? It's just paper plates. So this is the shayla about graf shalvei. It's interesting. It comes up a lot. The halacha is, though, if something is disturbing, it's called graf shalvei. So the Gemara understood over here, the reason they allowed them to move the ashes out was because it was graf shalvei. It's disgusting, it's disturbing. The way they used to have these burning pans to burn incense, what they used to do is to have a pan with a lid and holes in the lid, and inside it the ashes. So therefore it was covered. If it's covered, it's not graf shalvei. So the word says, we would carry a copper pot because of the ashes. And the more explaining a different cheshbon altogether. They used to sometimes use burned ashes for a proper purpose, and therefore it was not muktzah. If let's say a person had dirt on the floor, had an accident or somebody spat on the floor, so what would they do? They would throw ashes over the dirty area, and that way they would cover. That's what they're covering. So the ashes themselves had a particular purpose. Since they had a particular purpose, it wasn't muktzah. And therefore, even though there was other things which were muktzah inside, the ashes are not muktzah. It's talking about a bowl where you lit your wick inside it. And what happened was, it's got a bit of leftover oil inside it, and some broken wicks, old wicks. Now, pashtus, what's more important, the oil or the wicks? The oil. The oil is not muktzah, and nevertheless it says, aseh letalta. And it says, we're talking about the Golil. In the Golil, they had no ingredients to make wicks. Since they had no ingredients to make wicks, so therefore, because they had no flax for some, they had no linen to make wicks. Therefore, for them, broken wicks was more important than the oil. And since the broken wicks are muktzah, therefore we go according to what's more important, and therefore the whole keli is muktzah. And this is important to halacha. Whenever you've got a bosses, you've got to decide what's more important to you. And therefore, in this case, in the Golil, since they had no wicks, broken wicks were more important than oil. So therefore, it was a bosses because the broken wicks are muktzah. And that's why when you put something on the table, you have to see that you should make sure that there's something more of a boss. That in order for it not to be a boss, it has to be something which you want. It says like this. We had before by carrying a very big candle, and we said one of the reasons forbidden is because you might come to fix it. The more now goes to this topic. Levi bar Shmuel ashkechinu Rav Abba Rav Huna bar Chia. He met Rav Abba and Huna bar Chia. They were standing by the entrance of Rav Huna. Omar lehu ma'olach the mitzvah shel tarsi. Are you allowed to build and put back in place a tarsim bed? Here it's got a picture what a tarsim bed looks like. I don't know if you can see it so well. It's basically a folding bed where you'd have cross beams and a cloth. Could you put it together? For Shabbos. It's okay. It's awesome in our Torah. This is quite a strange example. Normally, when somebody says it's awesome, meaning it's awesome in Rabbanon, somebody might argue and say it's awesome in HaTorah or it's mutter. Here we have quite an extreme machlokas. One man Dama holds it's mutter legamri, you're allowed to do it completely, and the other man Dama holds it's awesome in HaTorah. Not that it's awesome in Rabbanon, it's awesome in HaTorah. So over here, there's a 5 words in Rashi, which is brought down, I don't know how many times in Halacha. I don't know if you've got it. It is 4 lines, 5 lines from the middle line, from the bottom, 5 lines from when Rashi's lines become wider. Rashi is chav chatos, yechav chatos, hu tachlise v'gomel natsa oise keli, v'cham mishum makeh b'patis shu av l'chol gim v'molocha. This is a very, very yesodistic Rashi. Rashi says, if I build a bed on Shabbos, according to this opinion, not necessarily passing like this, I'm chayav chatos. Why am I chayav chatos, says Rashi? Because of makeh b'patish. What is makeh b'patish? Is completing an item. Says Rashi, don't tell me I'm chayav because of boina, building, because ein binyan bekelim. And many Rishonim hold like Rashi, not everybody, it's machlukas, that there's no issa of building in a keli. Can anybody think of any nafke minas? This is hard. What difference does it make if the issa of building a bed is because of makeh b'patish, i.e. completing and making an item, which is one of the filamentus malachas, or if the issa is because of boina? Either way, it's issa deraisa.
It would make a difference whether stira was a malach.
Very good. One difference.
Boinam not listo. Yeah, boinam not listo.
That stira, knocking down, you're chayav. Makeh b'patish does not have the equivalent opposite. Building and knocking down, writing and rubbing out. Makeh b'patish, if you just damage something, there's no issa deraisa. So therefore, if building a bed was also because of boina, then dismantling a bed would be also because of soisa. But since building a bed is not because of building, because of makeh b'patish, so therefore dismantling a bed is not asa at all. It's no issa deraisa at all. That's one nafke mina that Rashi has to tell us that building a bed is only also because of makeh b'patish and not because of boina. But there's another very big nafke mina. Nobody got it. Okay, if you build one wall of a house on Shabbos, are you chayav chatos? Yes. Oh, you didn't finish the house, so what? Boina, as long as you build something, it's chayav. If you even put 3-4 bricks on, you could be chayav. You're building. Makeh b'patish is only forbidden if you complete something. If you're not completing something, it's not called makeh b'patish. Makeh b'patish means it's the last hammer blow that they used to do when they used to finish making the keli. Makeh b'patish is only when you finish something. When you haven't finished something, you're not chayav makeh b'patish. So let's say I make half a bed on Shabbos. What would it be according to Rashi? I'm not chayav. Because makeh b'patish there isn't. Why not? because I'm not finished the job. Boina, there isn't, because there's no binyan b'kelim. So therefore, I wouldn't be chayav. And this leads us to many, many, many shilas, from adjusting a shtender on Shabbos to, I remember I was once going to Shabbos brachas, and they made these glasses where it's like to serve the hors d'oeuvre, it's like two parts, and you screw the two together. Now, you can screw it quite tight, and the interesting thing is, you never unscrew it. You should know, these cups are usually disposed after. So some people started arguing that maybe it should be also because of Makkah Patish, right? Now, had he said because of Boina, you could have shouted to him and say, hey, ain't binyan b'kelim, because of Makkah Patish, there might be a problem. So again, you've got a lot of attain because of the fact that it's not a meleches umnus, you don't need skill, and it's not done with a very strong, it's done loosely, etc., but other things. The person has to be aware, these are the halachas that we're discussing over here. Rashi tells us there's no binyan, there's only Makkah Patish. Okay. So we had the machlokes amoraim regarding a bed of the tarsim, whether it is chayav chatos or whether it's mutter. Meisvei hamachzik konem menur b'Shabbos chayav chatos. Person who puts a candelabra together is chayav chatos. They even show you a picture of it here. If you can't see the pictures, you should tell me. Yeah, you've got broken candelabra. And what happens is, you're making it into pieces, you build it. This is the next case over here. Let me just, because before while I've got the camera focused, this is a painter's brush. Now, if you want to paint a house, so you have what's called, I don't know what the English word for it is, you have a long stick where you add pieces to the stick the longer you want it to reach. Let's say you want it to reach one height, so you've got one stick. If you want it to reach a higher height, you've got a longer stick. I think it might be called the telescopic stick or something. And if you do painting, when you want to paint something, so you have one stick, and then you want to make it, what?
Yeah, telescopic it's called. It's
Telescopic.
like you have it in hedge cutters and whatever, yeah. Anything to reach out.
So the same thing. So now, if you build a candelabra on Shabbos, chayav chatos, kono sayodim, a painter's brush, lo yachze, v'mechze potter v'losa. There are two kinds of instruments. Again, it's got pictures over here. Well, they need pictures, they just can't see it if the camera works. Here you've got two trumpets. 1, 2. This is a circular trumpet, this is a straight trumpet. Reminds me a bit about what the Scottish use. What do the Scottish use for musical instruments?
French horns.
French horns,
French
it's called?
horns. I think so. What, like round, very round?
Yeah, but what do the Scottish use? They use something else. Bagpipes. This looks a bit like a bagpipe to me, I don't know. So when they used to make it, they wanted to make it more truthful, they would put sticks, they would put different reeds inside it. So this one they would do very tight, this one they would do loose. So this one is chayav chatos, and this one's not. So ken agula chayav ken pshuta potter. So Mo says, Lemaisi, we see that a menorah is chayav chatos. Why? Because you're building a candelabra. The same thing, when you're building a bed, you should be chayav. And it says, Mo inu domu kahaitana, the tanya melabno samito, the kari samito, v'lavochim shoskibus. These are three different kinds of things. I'll try and you've got the legs. What you'd have is you have legs of the bed, and in the bottom of the legs you have these like cups, which you put your legs of the bed inside the cup. Why would you put your legs of the bed inside the cup? Because the floor often gets moist, right? When you're doing mopping, or if the rain comes in. So then what happens is you put the leg of the bed inside like a cup, so the leg of the bed shouldn't get wet. Skibbus is slightly more complicated. When you shoot bows and arrows, then you have to have a piece of wood at the very end where you stretch the bow and arrow. On the bow, where the arrow attaches to it, you have a piece of wood to attach to the bow in order to be able to shoot the arrow straight. All these things, lo yachzib, you mustn't put back. When hichzib, if you did potter, your potter, top of mem zayin on base. Aval also, but it is also midu abon. Velo yiska, you shouldn't do it strong. If you did it strong, chav chato. So if it's loose, it's mutter. And therefore, they said that this bed which they were making was a loose bed. Since it's a loose bed, they permitted it. And this is indeed how we pass them. This is very important. There are 3 levels of making an item in halacha. The Shabbos talks about it. There's tekiah, muhudak, and rofu. Rofu is mutter, tekiah is osem mid'oraisa, and muhudak is osem mid'rabbanan. Tekiah is when you make an item so strong that it's now part of it. He gives an example. It's not like the high chair that I have. There's some high chairs. What you have to do is this tray that goes in front, you actually have to attach it with screws and bolts, and then it doesn't come off. Once you attach it, it becomes like an IKEA, right? You have, I saw somebody recently a joke about IKEA, that if somebody comes for an interview, and they say to him, make a chair and wait for your interview. And there's a picture of a person going into the office, hundreds of pieces of wood on the floor and bolts and things. What?
Have a seat, he says.
What do you say?
He says, have a seat.
Have a seat and wait for your interview, and then you have to see all the different pieces. Anyway, if you build a high chair, that is osem mid'oraisa, because that's makabeh patish. Rofu is when something is loose. Something loose, that's mutter, right? So if you're therefore, he says that's the other case. Many high chairs, you put the tray on and off, that's fine. Muhudak is osem mid'rabbanan. Muhudak is something which is very, very strong. You don't take it off. But it doesn't require skill to do it, but it remains so. That is osem mid'rabbanan. If a person has to be careful, if a person does something, he says, for example, shtenders are mutter, because when you move the shtenders up and down, even these heavy shtenders, where you open the beams of the rings, the screws of the side, lift up and down, it's not done forever. It is removed and changed, etc. They had a bed of the Tarsim, similar. They would put it back on Yom Tov, that means they would undo it and do it on Yom Tov. That they would build it through a Shiur, because they never used to do it so strong. But building b'derech Shiur is osem mid'rabbanan. That not that it is osem mid'rabbanan. If it's a loose, it is actually completely mutter. Says the Mishnah, you're allowed to put a bowl underneath the candle to catch all the sparks. If you don't want the tablecloth to catch fire, you're allowed to put a bowl there. You mustn't put water inside the bowl, because that would be kibbutz. That would be proper kibbutz. Says the Gemara, how can you put a bowl underneath to catch the sparks? What happens is, once the sparks are inside it, so the bowl becomes now bosses l'davar asa. And once because the bosses l'davar asa, you're never going to be able to move the bowl. So you're establishing the bowl that you for there, and therefore it is asa. Sparks don't really have any substance, and therefore they don't exist. It's not a reality. There's no existence there, and therefore it is mutter. Says the Gemara, that he holds that gram kiboy is also. Yosi holds that that gram kiboy is also. For example, if you've got a fire spreading, if there's a fire spreading, so the question is, can you fill bowls of water around the fire? Yosi holds it's also. A Mishnah which says you mustn't put bowls of water around to catch the sparks is mamish like Rabbi Yosi. Says, well, but this, Rabbi Yosi was talking about filling the bowls up on Shabbos and putting them around the fire. But on Friday, he never said on Friday you're allowed to. Shabbos, we're talking about Shabbos. And our Mishnah is only on Shabbos. You're allowed to put a bowl to catch the sparks on Friday. So on Shabbos and Kavachim on Friday. Not allowed to put water even on Friday. Not allowed to put water there on Shabbos. So therefore we're talking about even on Friday not allowed to. And even Rabbi Yosi is not on Friday. Our Mishnah is going in Mishnah Chachamim. Because over here, you're mamish doing kibui. That means the way the Shem explain like this is, you're not doing real kibui over here. What you're doing is, there's a chashash, you might do real kibui over here. Since you're bringing a bowl with water next to the candle to catch the sparks, we're choishish that what you'll do is that you'll do kibui mamish, that you'll actually put out the candle. And therefore, we don't allow you to do it even on Friday. In the case where you're just leaving the water around, therefore, it is also that would be mutter. That would be mutter because the Chachamim is only when you're actually doing kibbutz. Actual putting out is also even on Friday because we're scared you might come do it on Shabbos. That means what happens is you've got like this candle which is giving off sparks. So you put a bowl of water, you put it onto the candle to put out the sparks which are coming out, and that's kibbutz. And we're scared if you do it on Friday, you'll come to do it on Shabbos as well. Hadon aloch kivo should be zeichet to chazor on it and to learn it in Shiva Shamalo, to chazor in this world and to understand it better and better every time. It's one of the most famous pokim in Shas kivo. We managed to learn some of the halachas of it. It's not. There's an interesting thesis regarding that. Thesis discusses that. If you want, let's do very quickly, because I actually do this every Friday. I don't know if you do it, is you put oil in the lamp, and the bottom half you put water. Do any of you do that? You light with oil, half water. The taste says at the bottom, the taste is 3 lines to the end. Mashkilo says, "Mine beschuchish kein lampa." But there is no Hashem the Shabbos. Ain't there kibbutz? The English kibbutz come to kibbutz klal like bias Hashem le shach migzal midish shemias b'Shabbos l'shor afilu l'abiyisi v'kosh kein rabbanon. So therefore it is mutter. So the Tesis talks about our situation where you put oil on top of water, and Tesis says that that's okay. Everybody prepared themselves. I've already made a shahakol because I've been drinking the whole time water. But everybody have a lechaim. No, anybody say a nice word for the lechaim? Oh, can you make a lechaim with Coca-Cola?
You must be driving.
What?
You're driving.
Shamro de Medina.
What about apple juice?
No, Coca-Cola doesn't work.
L'chaim. Many more. L'chaim. What's it? We've done now 3 prokim.
Okay, that in a pink cup. That's all I can find.
Rabbi Yehuda,
Yeah?
I put out to a vote for 3 times on Friday, the 11, 12, or 1.
Right.
I'll let you know hopefully by tomorrow, Thursday.
Oh, very good, thank you. 24 prokim in Shabbos. We've done 3. So it's much more than 8 because we've done the 3 longer ones. Later we'll get to much shorter ones, and we'll be having a lechaim literally every week or so. Yeah, literally.
4 days time.
4
Be
days.
alcoholics by the end of it.
4 days time.
4 days time next lechaim. What's 4 days time?
No, Thursday.
No,
Thursday
no.
night, you said.
That's Sunday.
No, you said Thursday night as well.
Yeah, Thursday night as well. Yeah, Thursday night because of Thursday night, because of a Chodesh.
Why don't we do just every? Let's just do every night before we start Shir L'chaim.
This week Friday you can shave and make haircuts.
Yes. We
Yeah,
would do
Sofa
it.
said so, yes.
Ben agrees.
Now, the only thing is you need to find a barber.
You're fine.
Hey, Gil Korn's not been around. He was yesterday, was he? I don't know.
No, he's not been around. Is he okay?
I don't know.
Ask
he's
me
here
if
now.
you give me a...
Oh. Gil, you opening up? No, you can't.
No, I'm being a bit
Lockdown.
quiet here, sorry.
Ah.
Nah.
Yeah, I know why you've taken the camera off.
Over
You don't want people to see you with your Yomi beard.
Yeah.
That's a ginger overload.
Bad for business.
It's a very, very big Kiddush Hashem. It's not Shmak, it's not coming from people are doing it. It's an unbelievable thing that, what Klal do for. How are you, Avi? How are you? No, I've not heard from you. How are you? Okay? How's your bar mitzvah boy?
Ian.
Baruch Hashem, very well.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got your bar mitzvah in time. I've been invited to
we got it just in time.
just in time. I've been invited to bar mitzvah tonight on telephone conference call, Yitzchak Gosnas, a very good friend of mine, Nick from Mitzvah tonight, and
Wow.
he's been very busy with it. His only son, and I've been invited to another bar mitzvah next week also, and having the parents and the actual children, not even the grandparents are coming. Can you believe it? Can you imagine? They booked a hall, caterers, musicians, and everything, and even the grandparents aren't coming.
They should have a big bar mitzvah for all the bar mitzvah boys when it's
Yes,
all
they
over.
should.
A nice, like in a hall.
I wonder if they'll do the same for chastas, whether they'll do repeat something.
Yeah, that's what I said, Tony. I said that at the end, there should be one big youth on it for 50 boys.
It'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
not so sure how it'll work
I
with
went
the
to
wedding.
Hazelstack
You know what I
to
mean?
do a job there, and then he asked me to come to his house to change the number lock on one of his gates. He told me
Maybe we
just
should watch the
create
word for
an
it. The main thing
invoice.
is to send nice bar mitzvah presents, I think, because at the end of the day, if that's coming hard. But your son was bar mitzvah, how long ago was he? How long has he been bar mitzvah for? About 2 months, is it? Less.
Saba, yeah.
What parsha was it? I can't remember. What
Saba.
parsha?
Someone just told me the
Maybe
lockdown.
Yeah.
The lockdown will be a week shorter because this week is 2 Sedras.
Next week is also 2 Sedras.
Yeah, exactly.
It was love time for Chumash Rashi, Stein Mikko. The love Chumash Rashi this week. Anyway. Very good. Anyway, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. We should have simchas, we should have besuas tovas, we should have nachas, and atzlocha with everything.
Right.
Nice.
Amen.
Okay. Very good. So we'll start the new parak with Shem tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. What's
Everybody.
Right.
Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov.